Hey yo, I'm Inki and welcome to another Unity animation tutorial. In the last video I talked about how to animate a sprite frame by frame by changing the sprite while recording the changes using the animation window and animator component. And in the end I added a detail that anything that's on or parent to the object with the animator component can be affected by it. Well, in this tutorial, we're going to go a little further into that and animate a character in a similar style to Flash animation. But before we begin, if you're new to this channel, or to animation, or game development, or Unity in general, watch my previous video on frame-by-frame animation in Unity, as some details used in this tutorial come from that video. Link will be in the description and at the end of this video. I just messed up there. With that in mind, let's start the tutorial. So the first thing we're going to do is the character that we're going to animate. We're going to be making some sort of a 2D puppet and assemble parts to make its figure. You need a sheet like this one over here with the necessary parts to make a character in Unity. You might need to make this sprite sheet with another software, just like in the previous video. My sprite sheet was made with Paint.net. This one is also used in Paint.net. I mean, this one was also made in Paint.net. So, my example is right here with parts for a pixel stick figure. All right. So I had to record this section apart from the rest of the footage, so I can give you a few things because I can't record the sprite editor directly for some reason. If you already saw the previous video, you already know how to separate the sprites, but there is a little detail that I want to address while splicing the parts. I'm gonna pick this one first. You see this reticle over here, this small little icon in the middle of the cut sprite. That is a little something called the pivot or pivot. I don't know how it's pronounced exactly, but you can drag this around, and what this little thing does is that it'll move the axis of, the center axis of the sprite. Like if you place it right over here, the sprite will move based on this area. Like it'll rotate from this area. I'll show you guys later in the video, but for now, oh hey, it's time for break. I'm just gonna keep splicing the sprites here. There we go. Always remember to press apply after you made all the changes. And with that, I'll pass to future me. Alright, with that done, we can start assembling the character's figure. First, what you're going to do is create an empty object. Just right click and create an empty. See that? There's our game object. This will be the object you're going to attach an animation component. And this is where you're going to parent all the character parts. You can call this by the character's name. Like in my case, I'm going to call this this little guy. My throat's a bit bad. Crap. Black ice. Black ice. No, not black ice. Black fire. Crap. Excuse me. Alright. Now you've given your character, let's go to the next step. Attach an animation component to this empty object. Just go to the hierarchy. Over here, add component. Select miscellaneous. And attach an animator component. There you go. This is where, and boom, now you have the animator on. Then in the project, and where is it? Oh yeah, here in the project window, you're gonna create an animation controller for your character. We're gonna call this one also Black Fire. And you're gonna drag this baby into the Black Fire's controller variable. There you go. Alright, now you have the object sort of ready to animate, but as you can see, there is nothing to animate in the object. Don't make any animation clips just yet. You're gonna click on the empty object and create another empty, which you're gonna call root. This is where you're gonna place all the character parts, and it's from here that you're gonna control other aspects of the character. All right. It's kind of like making a skeleton in Blender. So once you have that, go to your project window and expand your sprite sheet, as so. And now there's all your sprites. And pretty much drag what would be the torso of the character into the root object, which is, where are you? Here it is. Gonna move this and drag it on top of root. And as you can see, what this does is that it parents the torso to the root object. Alright, so let's start off with the head. You noticed a few days ago when I was trimming the sprites, you noticed that I was moving a symbol in the middle of the sprites frame. That is called the pivot. That is where the transformation is centered in. So first thing, you're gonna drag the sprite into the torso object. There you go. There's the head. It is a very small sprite. And drag it to where you plan on placing it, which is right here. Right in the middle. You don't have to be like pixel perfect, but it helps. It helps a lot. Alright. Alright. Alright, alright, alright. The head's pivot is at the bottom of the sprite, which is down here, which means that the head rotates from the bottom of the sprite. Like such. Now you notice why moving the pivot is important. Otherwise, if you have kept the pivot in the center in the sprite editor, it'll move from the center and not from the bottom of the head, which if it was at the center it would look very, very weird. Okay, now just undo those things. Okay, now just drag the accessories for the head into the object. Make sure it's in the head. Sure, it's in the head by dragging all the pieces that you want to add into the head object. There. And move them as you desire. This one I'm gonna rotate it to at least like 90 degrees. There you go. And the next one, which is the hair strand, also not on the tail but on the head. And now you just drag it. Make sure it's at the there. There you go. Now the head accessories are placed. Now we're going to proceed to give the character its limbs. You're going to drag the straight line. Well, it is a straight line on my end, and we're going to use that as the upper part of the limb and place it on the shoulder. There are, as you can see, there are no shoulder objects, so we're just going to drag it to the torso. Minimize this and drag the limb to the torso. You might want to change its name just so you don't get confused. And you're going to call this one upper limb, upper arm. Let's put an R to say it's on the right. Now just drag it. Actually, to not make it so bad, to help, just drag it over here, and you're gonna drag another one. Okay, you're gonna drag another one and place it in the upper arm, which is another. Place it on top of it, and now it's parented. Now you just move the object. This one you might need to make it pixel perfect. Make sure everything is okay, and there you go. Now you're gonna call this low arm R. Alright. Now you place the hand at the end of the arm. Let's choose. I shall choose the, not the thumbs up, point, open, hold, grab, fist. We're gonna move the fist on lower arm. We're gonna drag it and rotate it on the Z-axis to 90 degrees. Actually, negative 90 degrees. And we're gonna drag this all the way here. Make sure it's pixel perfect enough. And there you go. It is a long arm. But yeah. Now you have a full arm. Make sure you place the entire arm for here. Crappy do. There you go. All right. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna duplicate the entire arm. Make sure you select the entire arm and all its parented objects, because you might have a risk of just copying the one thing that you've selected. You're just gonna, once you have the entire arm selected, you right click and click on duplicate, and there you go. Now you have another arm. I'm just gonna drag it here just to make it look like it's on another side, on the other side. I'm gonna also change a few things in their names, just so I don't get confused. L, fist, L. Actually remove the fist name. And there. All right. Now, to make things a little bit easier, just so not to have to drag the limbs again to make the legs, you're just gonna select both arms, both arms, and you're gonna duplicate them, and you're gonna drag them to the bottom. There. Now you just replace the hands with feet. Just select these, the hand, and you're gonna replace it with the foot sprite, which now makes it look so weird. Okay, that's better. And do the same with the other one. Instead of fist, foot, and there you go. All right. This is a little bit difficult. Yeah. There we go. There you go. That's pretty much it, in a way. All right. You kind of sort of have everything set, but just to not get confused, you're gonna change the names. Upper arm to upper leg. Low arm to low leg. And instead of hand, you change it to foot. And do the same here. Just upper arm, upper leg, low arm, low leg, hand, foot. There you go. Anyway, now that you have the figure done, rotate the parts to test the figure and make any positional changes if needed. Just select, rotate. Works out pretty well. Perfect. Now, there. As you can see, all the changes were done well. But however, as you'll notice that some parts seem to overlap in an odd manner. As you can see here, both hands are behind his legs, or her legs. This is because the layers of all sprites are the same. To fix this, what you're gonna do is click on each sprite and change its layer. That's right over here. Positive numbers for the layers on top, negative numbers for the layers on the bottom. The one that you should keep at 0 is the torso sprite. Just keep it that way. But some parts that kind of stand out, like say the feet and the gloves, you're gonna make sure that at the very least those parts those parts, or at least the left parts are at the top. No, not there. Whoops, I just messed up. All right. All right, let us begin. First off, let me just fix this arrangement. All right. Now let's start on dealing with the sprites here. The right foot always goes at the top, so at the very least, make sure this one is on 2. The right foot goes under, which is -2. The hand goes on 3. And the right hand goes on -3, which stays at the bottom. And there you go. The head and the torso remain at 0. And torso remain at 0, but the tail remains at -1, and the hair at 1. A bit on the upper area. All right, and you pick up the anything that is on the right arm goes on top. Right arm goes on top. Up arm goes 1 layer down. Same goes for the leg. All right. Now the layers are fixed. Just test the figure, make sure that all the layers are in the right place and that the parts don't overlap in the wrong way or in the undesired way. There. It works. It works. All right. And with that, now you have a full character made and ready for animation. Now you're going to proceed as I did in the previous tutorial. Open the animation window right over, well, first off, just open black ice. Make sure that the animator is here. Okay. Now that you're in animation, create an animation clip. And you're gonna call this animation clip idle. No, player idle. All right, so we're gonna give this boy an idle animation and a running animation. So we're gonna start with the idle animation, and we're gonna animate this by rotating the limbs. So make sure that the axis settings are set to pivot, which is this part right here, which has center and pivot. Make sure that this is on pivot. And now we're gonna start doing some edits. Make a new clip if you haven't done it yet, and start editing the part's position and rotation. Always remember to turn this thing on, because if you don't, the engine will not save the changes you do to your character. So we're gonna start off by changing the posture. Alright, now we're gonna start giving it animation, and it's from this point that I might do a bit of a time lapse. But first I'm gonna show how this thing works. Always remember to have this turned on, otherwise it won't save the changes you do. I'm gonna move the fire root to here so I can use the line under as sort of a guide. And now you start animating. Now you're gonna, let's just make him do like some sort of a combat stance. Gonna do it like this. As you can see, all the changes I did are now saved in the timeline, the animation window, every rotation. Now we're gonna move the cursor to say the 10th frame, and we're gonna make some slight changes to it. Here, okay, so just like this. Not to change this. Oh, yeah, we'll probably change this pretty nice. So, up, move the legs, such. The head as well. Tail, in here. There you go. There you go. Now you notice that as I move the cursor, the character moves. Alright, now I'm gonna paste it somewhere, if it's even possible. There you go. Now the character has something of an idle animation. So there you go. You can do something like this with your sprite puppet. Now the next thing we're going to do is the running animation. All you have to do is go to the animations. To the animation name. It's going to show a drop-down menu and then create a new clip. And you're going to call this one Player Run. And the figure is back to normal since there's nothing that it's recording. Okay, now you just start editing and the parts and position and rotation once again. Always remember to have the record button on before you make any changes. And this is where we're going to go on a super time-lapse mode all the way. And And there you go. Play the animations to test it out. If there's any oopsies, make any changes if required. Let's test the running animation. Try the idle animation. Check it. She's ready for battle. Now move to the run animation. I mean, it's not a perfect animation, but you can see my point. What I'm making here. So anyway, there you have it. Now you made a character in Unity and animated it. There are a few more features that Unity has in terms of animation, but that'll be for another video in the future. For now, I have planned to make another tutorial requested by a friend to teach how to use the Animator Window, which is this one over here, and how to change states, set the transitions for each animation, and create and place conditions, as well as how to interact with the animator's variables through code. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Remember that this method of making characters can be done in many ways. You can even make a spider with this method. You may have to draw the character's parts in a different software, but you can animate in Unity. You know some limits, just get creative with them. Oh, and huge thanks to my patrons, AzureLounge, Seb1713, and Firedragonpunch for sponsoring my channel and my work through Patreon. And another huge thanks to my friend for requesting this tutorial series. If you're watching this, I hope this helps you with your projects. And if this helps you guys too, give the video a thumbs up or comment if you have questions or feedback on how I did here. And with that, I close this tutorial by saying have fun making and have a good one.